Hey gang, Carl White here, broadcasting on another beautiful day in paradise here in sunny Tampa Bay area. Well, and Philadelphia, because I'm joined here by a cohort of mine, the ever so wonderful, the ever talented Miss Kristen Simpson. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning. It's sunny here in Philly, but it's 35. So I'm looking forward to coming down and visiting you later on this week at the boot camp.
Oh, cool! You're coming to the boot camp. I was
I
just
am.
asking. I was just asking if you was coming here. I can't remember who I asked. They said that they weren't sure. So awesome.
I'll
Well,
be
it's
there.
I'm like a kid waiting for Santa Claus then. So
Me
not
too.
that you remotely resemble Santa Claus, but
Oh,
I'm like a kid waiting for Santa Claus. So all right,
dinner
cool,
at the White House. I am in.
awesome. So I think we're having barbecue here Wednesday night. So maybe we'll see
Fantastic.
barbecue. Perfect. Hey, so what are we talking about today?
I would like to flip the script a little bit. And can I ask you some questions?
You since I have the complete editing authority, yes, you can.
All right, good, good, good. And I'll tell you this was prompted a little bit because somebody asked me a question on a call about um, how we started the mortgage marketing animals,
Hmm.
what we do. And I said, well, we originally we were started to kind of work with and coach your branch, right, on the daily success plan activity. So but then I thought, let me go to the source. So tell me, when back when this was all created, mortgage marketing animals started Freedom Club, what inspired you to get this thing going?
Well, originally what happened was so I would so I guess it goes back even further than that. I always wanted to be a school teacher, Chris. I don't know if ever we've known each other for a long time. Have I ever shared that with you? I want to
I
be a
don't think
school
so.
teacher. Yeah, I wanted to be a school teacher. Um, and I'm not saying this to be funny, but until I found out what they got paid,
Mm.
and I thought, man, I mean, I honor them. Don't get me wrong, but I think they make 50,000 or something like that, 40,000, 30,000,
And they work very hard for it.
and they work very hard for it and put up a lot of BS, And I thought, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that pay. Don't get me wrong, but I had things I wanted to do, and I'm the primary breadwinner for the family, and so I thought I can't do that. So anyway, I put that dream to the side and went down a little rabbit holes here and there, and ended up in the mortgage business. And so it was my second year in. And for 1 year, I worked with another guy, Dave Hoyt. I'm forever grateful for him. Dave was just a wonderful, or is a wonderful, beautiful person, right? So he's very gracious with his time, taught me the mortgage business. And then after a year, I went independent and I called some guys, Greg Hill, never forget him. Greg Hill with Family First Mortgage, which company got swallowed up in the '08 crash and burn. No fault of theirs. It was just they're awesome, awesome family company. They just had some buybacks and it got the best of them, right? But anyway, so I was with them second year in the business, finished that second year, and I was the number one branch out of 336. So Family First Mortgage, which there's a Family First Mortgage now. It's not the same company, right? So it's two different. I just want to. I'm not.
Got
Yeah,
it. Two different
yeah,
companies.
two different companies, right? So no reflection of the other. I'm sure they're both great, but two different companies. So I was so I finished my second year, my first year with them, and I was the number one branch out of 336 branches. And so Greg, the owner, called me up. He said, "Man, Carl, congratulations! We're having a sales summit coming up. I'd never been to one, right? I was too busy writing loans, right? I didn't have time to go to the sales summit, right?" And he said, "You're getting the trophy, and we'd love you to be there to get the trophy, and maybe share a few words about how you did it." I don't know how I did it. I just made offers, right? I just asked people if they want a mortgage, and you ask enough people, you'll get so many yeses and so many nos, and you want more yeses, you ask more people. Got more yeses, got more nos, but I got more yeses, made more money. Said sure. So I went to the sales conference and got my nice little trophy, which I still have today, and talk a little, I don't know, half an hour, what I was doing, was just making calls, right? Nothing the daily success plan, right? That's what I
Mhm.
was doing. And so finished that, came back home, and a lot of these other branches are a lot of the loan officers with Family First were starting to call me up. say, hey, I got a problem, or what would you do with this, and what would you do with that? And so I did a little bit of that, and then after a little while, it was like it was taking a fair amount of time. So I called up Greg and said, hey, I'm spending too much time, talking to these people. He said, well, make it an organized thing. I said, what do you mean? He said, like do it once a week where everybody's on. And GoToWebinar had just started coming out, and which was something like Zoom, right? It was the first, to my knowledge, the first one. Sure, I'll do that. So I did that, but I noticed like I'd give them all this stuff, and then the next week they'd want more stuff. But I said, well, wait, what'd you do with what I told you last week? And the answer was nothing. Like they're wanting the next thing before implementing the last thing, right? Don't read another book until you did what you were told to do on the last book. It's not how many books you read, it's what did you do with the books that you did read, right? That's where the money is. Not reading 500 books for the year. I read one, but I did every single thing in there that would benefit me, right?
Yeah. Did you implement what you learned?
Yeah. So so after a couple of months of that, I said, hey man, this isn't working. They're not doing it. And he said, well, you know why? And I said, no, I don't know why. I said, because they can see the results of it, through what I'm doing. Not that I'm great, but I was still number one and getting great results. I said, I don't know why they're not doing it. He said, they don't have any skin in the game.
Mm.
What do you mean? They're getting it for free. You have to charge them. What? So like you charge them and no, 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 no. You charge them. What? And you and I split it? No, no, no. You help them write more loans. I win. Right? For Greg Hill wins. Family
Right.
First wins. He said, you make a couple bucks doing the coaching. Hey, I hope you do. Right? Awesome. Charge what you want. So I started off by charging $17 a month. Never forget this. $17 a month, 90% tapped out. 90% of the people that were on the calls stopped because it was $17 a month.
Wow.
And in short order, we all know what happened. The 10% were earning more than the other 90% put together.
Yep.
And so that's how it all got started. And then I started having great success, and I didn't know what to do with the success, or I was limited by what I saw, and I didn't see many that were doing much better. I'm sure there were, right? I wasn't the best in the world. I just didn't
Right.
know. I didn't know them. I didn't know I was the best that I knew. I earned more money than anybody I knew in the mortgage world. So I thought I have to expand my circle. And so that's when I started joining some mastermind groups, of which I still belong to 3 of them today. And those people really expanded my world, because what I thought was big wasn't big, but it was as big as I knew.
Yeah.
It's like being the slugger on the local little league field. Well, it doesn't mean you're a slugger. It just
Mhm.
means you're a slugger on the local little league field. But jump into the majors, it's a whole nother ball game. And so that's what I found is when I joined mastermind groups, that it broadened what I knew was available, or what I thought was possible. I could see other people doing far, far, far better, and learning from them, and learning from their challenges, and figuring out them sharing with me what they did wrong, and if they could do it again, what they do different. And so I could correct those things even before I made the mistake. So anyway, that was a very long answer to your short question.
No, I've never heard that story of the
Yeah,
$17. So that just blows my mind. It's so
yeah,
telling.
yeah.
Hey, now we're gonna pay for this so you have some skin in the game and we both meet halfway. And
Which is why, by the way, to this day, um, I do not accept payments from companies. And what I mean by that, like if you own Kristen Mortgage Incorporated, a fictitious name, right? But if it's Kristen Mortgage Incorporated, say, Carl, I want to write you a big check for all of our members to be members of the Mortgage Marketing Animals. I don't accept those checks, right? Because I know that you, the owner, won't benefit from it, because your loan officers won't benefit from it, because they don't have any skin in the game. It's not until they have personal skin in the game. Now we have it so that, like, let's say you as the company owner, you take out bips from them, so it's coming out of their pay, but because of tax purposes, the company's the one that's actually writing the check. Of course, we do that. We get I'm top of my hundreds of those each month. But as far as like, but it has to be coming from the loan officer's pay, that it has to be their skin in the game, or at least a good portion. Sometimes we have companies that pay like half, kind of, we'll pay half, the loan officer pay half. I'm not for that, but whatever. They do it as a benefit. As long as the loan, you have to have skin in the game. If you don't have any skin in the game, it ain't gonna work. Like it's not gonna work. So if I've got, like a company paid uh, coaching, I don't think there's anything wrong with company coaching, but the loan officer has to pay to be a part of it. If they don't pay to be a part of it, everybody's doing it just to kind of like sitting around the campfire singing kumbaya. It makes us all feel good, but nothing's really happening.
Mm.
So you have to have skin in the game. If you don't have skin in the game, it isn't gonna work. Got to. Just it's just the way people are.
Well, and I think that'll tell you who's actually serious about it too.
Yeah. Well, there's an old saying, if you don't pay money, you don't pay attention. If you don't pay money, you don't pay attention. And there's and me too, by the way. I'm the same way. If I don't pay money for something, that's like I had a I had a guy. So I'm in a mastermind group. I've been in it for, gosh, probably at this point 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, something, a long time. I don't know, probably 5 years ago, the head of it, and we're friends, like we're good friends. The head of it calls me up and he says, Carl, stop sending me money. And I said, well, is something wrong? He says, no, it just feels weird, man. Like, we've been together a long time and you bring us good stuff. And I said, yeah, but you bring me good stuff. He said, no, I get that. He said, it's just getting kind of, I don't know, just like, it feels like you should stop paying at this point. And I said, brother, if I stopped paying, I'd stop paying attention. And
Mm.
I benefit so greatly. I'm not paying for his friendship. I'm paying for his mastermind. Right? It's two different things. So if I stopped his mastermind, we're still buddies. We're still friends. But if I'm not paying for the mastermind group, it now has no value to me, and I'll stop paying attention. And I say that because I see it happens 100% of the time to everybody that ever stops paying. They stop paying attention. And so I said, if it doesn't, and I said, if you don't want the money, I get that. I don't donate it to the Red Cross, your local little league team, women's show, like whatever. Like
Mm.
donate it. You don't have to, I don't care but I'm going to send it, right? Unless you say, Carl, I hate you. Stop sending me money. Of course I would stop. But like, it's not disrespectful to me for me to be paying to be in this group, even though we're all friends, because I know if I don't pay dollars, I won't pay attention.
So is that how you stay updated on, so from that point on, you started getting involved in masterminds and getting coaching. Has that ever
I've met some amazing people. Uh, and I'm going to do a little name dropping here, not for name dropping purposes, but at these masterminds, one of them I belong to, I met Kevin O'Leary, has been
Mm.
a part of it. William Shatner, has been a part of it. Captain Kirk, for all the old Trekkie days. Sarah from Spanx, the women's
Mhm.
clothing lady, she's part of it. Her husband, and I swear I can't remember the name of it, his first name now. But anyway, her husband, remarkable guy. He wrote the book. What was it called? Sleeping with a Seal, where he spent, I think it was like 90 days or something like that, with a Navy SEAL living at his house to get him back into shape. Fantastic book, by the way. But anyway, he's been in it. I met Marcus Lemonis, the TV show The Prophet. He owns Camping World. He's been a part of it, um, and 100 people that I would never heard of. You probably haven't ever heard of unless you're part of the group. That are these behind the scenes multimillionaire people, and they just taught me what's possible, and they've taught me how big it can be. Because anytime I think I'm a little bit big for my britches, I just have a little conversation with Kevin O'Leary to realize what a little amoeba that I am. And I think it's good, or at least for me, to have that humbling experience that I think I'm good, but I don't know how big can be. I think like the property I'm sitting on right now is a little over 5 acres. And I think, man, that's a lot of property here in Pinellas County. Until you look at the universe as a whole, and I'm like a little microscopic little, not even a speck of dust on the sphere of things. And so I think I have to have relationships with people that give me a bigger view of what's possible and how we can influence people and change their lives. The little small things that we do, the people that we associate ourselves, the experiences that we're exposed to, when we're shown what greatness really is, it can be majorly impactful for our lives. And to pinch pennies where I can't afford the couple $100 or the $1,000 or the five or the 10,000 or whatever that number is. I
Mm,
can't afford that. You have no idea what you're saying no to. You have
mm.
no idea the massive magnitude that these things, how they can affect not just your life, but your kids' life, your grandchildren's life by these little small things that you do. I think of all the things like, a couple people have been real influential in my mastermind groups. A guy's first name is Frank. Another one, Perry, um, Ryan. I mean, they showed me what was possible, and I'm just forever grateful to these guys because they just had a different set of experience that they exposed me to show me what was possible. And now that I know what's possible, it's easier for, because if I don't know what's possible, I can't even. That's like, the old thing. The old story of the 4 minute mile. Everybody thought it was impossible, 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 impossible until one guy did it. And as soon as one guy did it, I think in the next 18 months, it was like 14 others did, or it's something like that. You can Google the story. But once one person did it, then there was like dozens of people did it. And now you can't, if you try to get on a college track team and not run a 4 minute mile, you're not going to get on the team. Like these top tier teams, like everybody, I say everybody, but large numbers of people are running the 4 minute mile. And because one person proved it was possible. And I think that's such a powerful thing. And had that one person not done it, it might have been another 30, 40, 50 years before it was done, Kristen, because nobody knew what was possible.
Let me
So,
ask you one question. What to you is the difference between coaching and mastermind, or is it the same?
coaching, it's not the same. So masterminding is where I take my favorite thing in the world to do. I just love doing this. Is I love sitting around a table with about a dozen, maybe two dozen people, and you're sitting around a big table. My preference is a U-shaped table, um, and doing what I call a brain dump. Here's what's working for me, and here's my number one challenge.
Ah,
So
so this
here's
is
what
this is literally what we're doing with Garage Fest in the Freedom
that's
Club.
it's my favorite thing in the world to do. I love
Okay.
doing it. So this is what's working for me, and then this is my single biggest challenge. And then what I do as an attendee, I sit there and listen to what's working for you. So I'll listen to this person, that person, that, and maybe the fourth person says, "Well, this thing's working for me." And I go, "Oh, well, that sounds interesting." And what I heard from number one, two, and three was good, but number four grabbed my attention. Like for me and my personality, oh, that's something that sounds like fun. I have to enjoy it. That
Yeah.
sounds like something that's fun. And then I go, yeah, but the problem that causes is this. And then number eight lady says, yeah, but what would happen if you took what number two said and combined it with what number four said? Wouldn't that take care of that problem? Yes, it would. And that solution would not have come up had number two and number four been in the same room at the same time. And one thing I've learned, you get a group of like 10 to 20 high level people all in one place, it's just magic. Whatever you're trying to do, somebody in that group is already doing successfully. So instead of getting out my uh, knife, my machete, and trying to cut through the jungle, Kristen, I'm going to follow behind your draft because you've already done it. You've already had the challenges. You've already overcame the roadblocks and you know how to get there and you're going down that path. So instead of me trailblazing a new path, why don't I just follow in your draft that's already successful? I can move much faster following behind you where you've already got all the weeds broken down rather than having to trudge through the swamp where there's no road. I'd much rather go down an interstate than through a swamp in this area. And so I think getting in a room where there's other very successful people that's already done what you're already looking to do, they can make things happen so much faster. That's like I saw a thing the other day.
So that's masterminding.
That's masterminding. Coaching is equally as important but different. Coaching is um coaching is, hey Kristen, tell me what you're promising to do this week. Well, Carl, I'm promising to do this. All right, awesome. Kristen, what 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 are the obstacles? What, if any, are the obstacles that would stand in your way of making this happening this week? Well, I got this obstacle and that obstacle. Okay, I like that. If and when that obstacle comes up, what can we do to overcome that? Well, we could, and then we talk about that. We remove the obstacle. Coaching really is just removing the obstacles. So masterminding is knowing the vision and where we're heading, and then coaching is helping you get to where you already know that you're heading. Like we've already mapped out where you're heading. Coaching is removing the road, is removing the obstacles. Coaching is helps you from getting sidetracked.
Mm.
Like that's like you show up on the football field here at the Buccaneers. Look, you're not going to show that quarterback how to throw the ball. He or she knows how to. In this case, he knows how to throw that ball. Coaching is getting him to go out there day after day, hour after hour, and actually walking through the process of it. It's like, hey, coach, I'm tired. I know you're tired. I know you are, but I need you to give me five more. I need you to give me five more. And it's just helping to remove those obstacles and help, just so you're not trudging through the desert by yourself. You're taking somebody along with you. And by the way, somebody's been down that. Like I think of a coach as a Sherpa. They're taking you up to the Mount Everest. You know what Sherpa is?
Huh? Mhm.
Okay. So you're going up to the mountaintop, and that Sherpa has been up there 5 times last week, right? And so they know the pathway up there, they know how to get you up there, and they help encourage you and sometimes even carry your water for you a little bit. So a coach helps you get up to the mountaintop. A masterminding lets you know what the mountaintop looks like and which direction it's in. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Are they mutually exclusive?
Um, I think I no, I think so. My coaches typically have come from my mastermind groups
Mm.
as a general rule. I think one comes before the other though. I think masterminding comes first. And then once I know what's possible and what's available, my coach helps me get there. Does that make sense?
It does, because if I don't have a clear path, even though I know it's there, I need to have the clear path to get there, and I might need help along the way.
Or I think just knowing what's possible. One of the I take one of the most valuable lessons I've got from the mastermind groups that I'm in. And some of these things are they're not expensive. They're all free because they teach me to make more money than what they cost, right?
Right.
But they have a significant investment. Let's call it that. So they have a significant investment. But I tell you the one thing I've learned. So two things I've really learned a lot. One is what's possible, and then the other is that I meet these other people that have achieved just great things, and I've discovered they're just normal people, and they have normal struggles, normal challenges, normal failures. Now, there's a couple exceptions to that for sure. So I've never met him, but like Elon Musk is a freak of nature, right? He's just not normal, right? And he'd be the first, and he's
Yeah.
not. He's not
No.
normal. Um, Zuckerberg, Facebook, not normal. Bezos, not normal. So there's, and maybe if I met them, maybe I'd go, oh, come to find out they are normal. But I listen to interviews of those cats, they're different, right? They are. So let's take those off the table and let's just talk about the normal great people, like Kevin O'Leary and uh, uh, the Sarah from Space, these billionaires. They're just normal people. I'll never forget. I had breakfast. This is going back a few years. I had breakfast with Jeb Bush one time, so governor of Florida. This was before he became the governor, and this was not a political thing. A friend of mine just said, "Hey, I'm meeting with Jeb Bush for breakfast. Would you like to?" You you introduce me to anybody of greatness. I'd love to have breakfast with him. Whether I have the same views or not is not the discussion. But anyway, so I met with him. It was a fascinating conversation, and he was just discussing with me the challenges of being in a political world and from a major political family and the stresses that caused on his marriage.
Mm.
and the challenges that he had, on wanting to be a husband first, a father second, and a politician or businessman third, and just the true challenges he had. And we were in that conversation, and and I don't think it was an act, it was just me and him. Well, and one other dude, and he actually left about 45 minutes into it. He had to leave. And so I'm there with Jeff. I'm sitting there going, wow, this is really cool. I'm sitting here with, with whoever it was, Bill Clinton, whoever. I just loved it. But as he's talking about his challenges, I saw a tear coming out of his eye when I could see the pain that he's having in his personal life, with the challenge of my work versus my family. And I remember seeing that and I went, wow, this dude's just like me.
Yep.
And what I mean by that, he's just a normal person. And even though his daddy was the president of the United States, he's just a normal person. And that was just remarkable for me. That was so I think, hanging out with these groups, I find that they're just normal people with great vision, great ambition, and great work ethics. And if I do the same, I too can, or you too can achieve great things because they're not Thor, they're not Wonder Woman, right? They're not even what was on Batman, Catwoman, Cat Lady, Catwoman.
Cat,
What was her
Catwoman. I think it's
Catwoman?
Catwoman.
Yeah, they're not even Catwoman, right? That they're just normal people. And I think that's been the biggest thing of all, that I just got to roll my sleeves up. And by the way, all those people, they work for what happens to them. It doesn't just happen. They don't get just lucky. Like, they put themselves in position to be lucky. They put themselves in the position to be at the right place at the right time by hanging out with the right people to see what's available and what's possible. So I don't know if this is the direction that you were thinking that it was going to go, but it's I tell you, I wouldn't trade my I wouldn't trade the relationships I've made in my mastermind group, not the one that we run, but the others, with anything. And also with ours, the relationships that I've made in the mortgage world, running a mortgage mastermind group and hanging out with others that do the same. I wouldn't trade those relationships for anything other than my family, of course. I wouldn't trade them for anything.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's very powerful when you put a bunch of people together, what can happen. So I saw a thing, I can't remember what it was. It was like, every 3 years now, we're learning more information than what was all of mankind up to that point. Like, that every 3 years is doubling, or every 2 years, or 1 year, or 18 months, whatever it was. And I was thinking about that. I said, why is it that things are moving so much faster? Why did it take us 2,000 years to figure out how to light a fire? And then we've gone, or it took us 10,000 years to learn how to fly an airplane. And then we went from the Wright brothers to the spaceship in
Mhm.
60 years. Like, how did that happen? And how it happened was how it used to be, Kristen, is we would learn information here in Florida, but I couldn't share it and learn your stuff from somebody in Pennsylvania because I only had what was here in Florida, what was in my tribe, in my village, available to me. And so we all had to figure out this stuff independently. Hence, it took 10,000 years. And now, especially with the internet, we can exchange. It's not that we're any smarter. We're just able to exchange ideas that much faster. Just like today, we're exchanging ideas through this podcast with tens of thousands of loan officers across the nation. And so they don't have to go figure this stuff out individually because they can hear, well, Kristen experienced this and I can learn from that, or Carl went through this, I can learn from that. So the exchanging of ideas at lightning speed, that's what's made us catapult our technology skills. We're not any smarter today than we were 2,000 years ago. Uh, we're just able to transfer our experiences and our knowledge and exchange idea throughout the entire earth, all in real time. That's the reason why things are happening so much faster and so much better. That's been the secret sauce. It's simply communicating, sharing out ideas, and the faster we can share ideas, the faster we can grow.
So put yourself in the position to be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Hey, so if you want to see what our group does, if you want to get an idea, well, what's behind a mastermind group? How often do you guys meet? and how do you specifically benefit from it? If you just go to freedomclubdemo.com, we'll walk you through a demonstration of exactly how it works. And I've always often thought my grandfather taught me this. He said, Carl, before you say no to something, find out what you're saying no to. And
Mhm.
so before you shut the door on something, take a peek inside. It's kind of like Let's Make a Deal was an old game show. Do you
I
ever?
know that show. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
yeah. Well, so this is Let's Make a Deal. Here's the difference.
It's Monty
You're
Hall,
choo-
right?
yeah, Monty Hall. You're choosing behind door number one, door number two, and door number three. Except in their case, you had to blindly choose,
Mhm.
not knowing what's behind. You chose a door. Here, you get to go in the door, walk around, taste it, smell it, and then decide if it's good for you, right? Then decide if it's a good match for you. So you actually get to walk in the door and see what it is, then make your decision. You're not deciding blindly. Freedomclubdemo.com. Kristen, you're awesome. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you later this week.
Thanks, Carl. You too.
All right. Bye bye, everybody. We'll talk to you when you call in.